Hello and welcome to this Color Along in Seasons by Hanna Karlzon. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Ina. If not, welcome back. I'll show you how I color this page with the flowers and the insect. I've already completed the background in this video about the Jackson watercolor crayons. If you want to follow along with this color along, you should watch the video first. If you don't have the Jacksons, you can also use the Neo Color 2 by Caran-d'Ache, other water-soluble crayons, watercolors, watercolor pencils, or of course colored pencils. Now I'll show you how I continue coloring the page. I'll start with the leaves. I'm using leaf green light from my Castle Art soft touch pencils, but you can use any other brand with similar colors. Since the light is coming from the top right, I place the lightest area of the leaves accordingly, and the farther I get to the bottom left of the leaf, the darker it becomes. The leaf veins will be light green, while the leaf itself and the stem will be slightly darker. For this, I'll use leaf green middle, then leaf green. As the next darker shade, I'll apply permanent green and juniper green. There's no direct light source on this page, and when I colored the background, I decided the light would come from the top right. However, it's not entirely clear where exactly the light originates. Depending on whether the light comes directly from the upper right corner or more from behind, the shadow placement changes. If the light were coming from behind, the entire motif would be backlit, making it quite dark without an additional light source. Since I don't want that, I've decided the light comes slightly from behind, but mostly from the side. I've tried to make some sample photos to illustrate what happens when you change your viewpoint just a few centimeters while looking at plants. I color the other leaves the same way, just off camera since it's the same process. So, here are the fully colored leaves. Next, I'll focus on this flower. I'll start with the petals. I begin with the darkest color, cherry, in the center and get lighter toward the edges. The lines drawn by Hanna Karlzon on the petals indicate deeper, darker areas, suggesting the petal is slightly curved with the edges more forward than the middle. Therefore, I extended the darker color higher in those areas. I hope this makes sense, but you'll see how I do it. On the first petal it's not as pronounced, but it becomes clearer on the others. The next lighter colors I use are magenta, then cherry pink, grenadine and grenadine light. Don't be surprised if some pencil tips are longer than others. I recently got a new sharpener that makes longer tips. I didn't realize they'd be this long before purchasing, but I like it, and none of my pencils have broken so far. Moving on to the stamens, the parts where the pollen is. I start with marigold at the base of the stamen, then cadmium yellow deep and golden yellow deep for the anther. Now for the diamond. Since the flower is pink, the diamond will have a slightly pink tint. I used some pencils from the Castle Arts Harmonious set, starting with Dusty Rose. I randomly color different sections because gemstones sparkle differently depending on the light. Next I use Calamine Azalea Pink, the only color from the Soft Touch set I used for the diamonds, following by Spring Heather, Pavilion Grey and Wheatgrass. I'll color the other flowers the same way. This insect looks like a bee to me because of the stripes, even though it's missing 2 legs, so I color it like a bee. I'll start with the stripes. To give the body a rounded look, I colored the edges darker and get lighter towards the center. I start with ivory black, then Van Dyke brown. To blend the colors better, I go over the darker areas again with a lighter color. Since I'm not sure what to do with the pattern yet, I begin with the parts I do know, namely the stripes and the body. The next color is walnut brown, and the lightest is burnt sienna. I finish by going over everything lightly with walnut brown for smoother blending. I apply almost the same technique to the legs, using walnut brown lightly even where burnt sienna is applied for a smooth blend. I color the bee's abdomen using the same technique as the stripes, with yellow ochre light, and golden yellow, ensuring both sides are as symmetrical as possible. Sorry for the light conditions, I can't adjust it right now. Now, what to do with the pattern? I think I use the same color combinations, starting with the darkest shade. For the dots, I will use a gel pen. For the front part of the body, I'll do the same, getting lighter towards the center. I'll add burnt sienna and walnut brown for the pattern. For the eyes, I use black, and for the antenna, Van Dyke brown with walnut browns, since they are short. The striped area around the eyes is colored alternately with Van Dyke brown and walnut brown. The transition area from the body to the head is black, followed by burnt sienna, yellow ochre and yellow ochre light. For the wings, I use a light, shimmering metallic watercolor. It's not very opaque, but that's fine since wings should be slightly translucent. You can get these colors cheaply at Woolworths, and for the price, they're pretty good as long as you don't expect extreme opacity. Now the sunlight might actually help to show off the shimmer. For the lines, I'll use a silver gel pen later. But first I noticed two small areas where I forgot to color the background. I'll fix that now. I pick up the color directly from the Jackson watercolor crane using a brush. I'm using cobalt green. Next, I'll use the Pentel Hybrid gel pen in gold for the dots and the same pen in silver for the lines on the wings. But first, I'm moving to a different spot to avoid lighting issues, so you can see better. Okay, the lighting is better here, starting with the gold gel pen. The gel pen works better on paper and colored penciled areas than on the Jackson watercolor crane areas, but a second layer should do the trick. I've already gone over the lines on the other wing with a silver gel pen. Now it's this one's turn. It's hard to see on camera, but depending on the angle, you can catch the shimmer. Now I'll test on this flower how it looks if I cover the black lines of the petals with a light pink acrylic paint pen. The color matches well. I like it, and I can also cover the small bluish spots where I accidentally colored outside the lines while doing the background. If you also have acrylic paint pens with plastic tips, do you pull out the tip and rinse it with water after use? If I don't, the paint dries in the tip, and the pen stops working since acrylic paint isn't water soluble after drying. Do you have a better trick? Now I'm wondering if I should go over the lines around the leaves with a green acrylic paint pen. First, I'll add a second layer to the dots on the background. There's no visible difference anymore. Now I'll trace the lines of the diamonds with my white Sakura jelly roll. To make the diamonds really shine, I'll add some highlights. I've decided to leave the page as it is, because if I were to cover the lines around the leaves, I had also have to cover the rest of the lines, like around all the tiny stamens. No, I leave the page as it is. I've heard that a white gel or acrylic paint pen don't stay white on pink but turn pinkish. You can see it here, so I'm adding a second layer. Here's the final page. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you follow along with the color along, feel free to tag me. Bye!